Hey, what's up everybody? This is Dom, and today we are comparing the Samsung Galaxy S5 to the HTC One M8. Now these two devices are very different on the outside, but on the inside, at their cores, they are kind of similar, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute, but be sure to leave this video a thumbs up if you'd like to see more comparisons like this in the future. So let's go ahead and get started with this comparison and check out the similarities and differences between the Samsung Galaxy S5 and HTC One M8. In terms of specifications, the Galaxy S5 is rocking a 5.1-inch 1080p Super AMOLED display with 432 pixels per inch, a quad-core 2.5 GHz Snapdragon 801 processor, the Adreno 330 GPU, 2 GB of RAM, and a 2800 mAh battery. When it comes to the HTC One M8, you'll find a 5-inch 1080p IPS display with 441 pixels per inch, a quad-core 2.3 GHz Snapdragon 801 processor, the Adreno 330 GPU, 2 GB of RAM, and a 2600 mAh battery. As I mentioned before, these devices are very similar in terms of specifications, with only a couple of differences when it comes to the processor speed and the battery capacity, but the differences are definitely there in terms of build quality and software. The HTC One M8 is constructed with a unibody metal design, while the Samsung Galaxy S5 continues on with a plastic build much like its predecessor. On the HTC One M8, you'll find Android 4.4.2 KitKat with HTC's Sense 6 overlay and BlinkFeed 2.0, and overall things are very fluid. Nothing seems to lag anywhere in my experience so far, and I've been using this device as a daily driver for a while now. We also do have device-specific features like motion launch gestures, which will allow you to activate the device when the screen is off. With a double tap, you can quickly turn on the screen just to see your notifications. You can swipe from right to left to access your home screen, and then you can swipe from left to right to go straight to BlinkFeed. And we also do have quick access to voice dialing by swiping from the top of the screen to the bottom. On the Samsung Galaxy S5, you will find Android 4.4.2 KitKat with Samsung's TouchWiz overlay for Android, and overall the experience is rather fluid. I did notice some lags here and there, but that is not really anything new for Galaxy devices, unfortunately. We also do have My Magazine here, which is very similar to BlinkFeed in the way that it aggregates content for you to read at any time with a quick swipe to the side there. But overall, much like Sense, TouchWiz is pretty much the same as we've seen it before, with a few minor changes here and there. On the front side of the Galaxy S5, you will find two capacitive buttons and a home button, which acts as a fingerprint scanner to unlock the device and make payments via PayPal. At the top, we have the appropriate sensors, earpiece, and a 2.1 megapixel camera. Jumping over to the HTC One M8, you will find on-screen software buttons along with dual boom sound speakers located at the top and bottom, and we also do have a 5 megapixel camera, earpiece, and sensors as well. On the back of the Galaxy S5, we are greeted with the Galaxy branding and a small speaker, and along the bottom edge, we do have a USB 3.0 port that is protected by this port cover here, and that is due to the fact that this phone is IP67 dust and water resistant. So yes, you can put it in a cup of water, though I would not advise it. But in my testing, it did work very well, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with the device after submerging it in water. And along the bottom edge of the HTC One M8, you will find a 3.5mm headphone jack along with a micro USB charging port. On the top side of the Samsung Galaxy S5, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack, an IR blaster, and a small microphone, while the HTC One M8 just has a lock button with a built-in IR blaster. The button layout on the Galaxy S5 is very similar to its predecessor, with the lock and volume rockers located on the sides of the device, and on the HTC One M8 we do have our volume rocker over on the right side along with a micro SD card slot for storage expansion up to 128 gigabytes, and then on the left side we have a slot for its nano SIM card. On the Galaxy S5 you will have to remove its back cover in order to access the micro SIM card or micro SD card slot, but you also do have a removable battery, which you will not find on the HTC One M8. The Galaxy S5 is also equipped with a heart rate sensor located on its back below the camera, which utilizes the S Health app to read your heart rate in real time, but the same thing can be accomplished on the HTC One M8 using the back camera and LED flash and several apps available in the Play Store. Now, speaking of the rear camera on the Galaxy S5, you will find UHD quality video recording as well as a 16 megapixel shooter. Along with that, Samsung has introduced some exclusive features here on the Galaxy S5's camera, such as selective focus, which will allow you to apply a refocusing effect to your photos. Taking a look at the HTC One, we have its duo camera setup, which includes a 4 megapixel ultra pixel camera and a 2 megapixel sensor that will capture depth information, as well as a dual LED flash. The duo camera comes into play when using several effects available within HTC's camera app. Now, similar to the Galaxy S5, U-Focus will allow you to use that extra depth information captured by the additional 2 megapixel camera on the back to refocus your photos after you've taken them. Both devices also have their own kids mode, which is great if you have children and want to keep your kids safe on your device. This serves as a home screen replacement and includes tons of activities on both devices, such as this nice little alligator here on the S5. One final standout feature on the Galaxy S5 is its ultra power saving mode, and using the AMOLED display, it will grayscale and dumb down the user interface and conserve your battery for up to 24 hours in standby mode once it dips below 10%, which is definitely great if you're trying to make it to that next charge. Jumping back to the HTC One, I did want to bring up the dual boom sound speakers one last time because, like its predecessor, these things sound excellent. They beat the Galaxy S5's single speaker in just about every way and are perfect for people that like to listen to music or watch movies or other videos on their device. Finally, let's take a look at benchmarks here in Geekbench 3, where the S5 comes in first with a single core score of 963 and a multi-core score of 3031, while the HTC One comes in with a single core score of 915 and a multi-core score of 2588. And last but not least, we're taking a look at Antutu, where the HTC One M8 comes in first with a score of 36,041, while the Galaxy S5 isn't too far behind with a score of 35,935. But keep in mind, benchmarks aren't everything, and these two devices pretty much have the same specifications aside from a slight bump in processor speed on the Galaxy S5. So that just about wraps it up for this comparison, but overall, both of these devices are great in their own ways. Of course, you're getting a better build quality in my opinion with the HTC One M8, but the Galaxy S5 includes several other features that some people may want, such as the fingerprint sensor or the heart rate sensor. Either way, let me know which device you prefer down in the comment section below, and leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also, feel free to subscribe if you're not already for more comparisons like this in the future. Thanks again for watching, everybody. This is Dom, and have a great day.